Okay, use the quadratic polynomial to compute what we're looking for.
Yep.
And then use this to determine cosine of 72 degrees.
All right.
And then the next one's about cosine of 2 pi over 7 as a cubic, yeah. We'll actually do that, but just not as part of the project. We'll do that sometime later today.
Okay.
All right, so now to end up today's project, we're going to compute cosine of 72 degrees.
So x squared minus x, or plus x minus 1 was our equation.
Uh-huh.
And this doesn't factor.
Well, before we even do that, what are the roots of this equation?
So z1 is zeta plus zeta to the fourth, which we can say is, if zeta is cosine of 72 plus I sine 72, we know this is 2 cosine 72.
Yep.
And
So
then
one root is 2 cosine of 72.
z2 is zeta squared plus zeta cubed. Let's put that up there. Which, from the same logic, we know this is 2 cosine of 144.
Okay, and how are we going to tell those apart when we find the roots of our quadratic equation? Can you tell me?
Because zeta squared and zeta cubed were on the left side of the imaginary axis. We know the cosine of 144 is going to be negative.
Mm-hmm.
So we're hoping that one of the roots will be positive, and that'll be 2 cosine 72, and one will be negative, which will be 2 cosine 144.
Okay, good. All right, so what are the roots of our equation here? X squared plus x minus 1 equals 0.
So with the quadratic formula, because this doesn't factor, we have minus 1 plus or minus square root of 1 plus 4, so 5, over 2.
Okay. So
So we have minus 1 plus root 5 over 2 and minus 1 minus root 5 over 2.
so minus 1 minus root 5 over 2 is obviously going to be negative.
Yeah.
And since root 5 is greater than 2, we know minus 1 plus root 5 over 2 is going to be positive.
So 2 cosine 72 equals minus 1 plus root 5 over 2.
So what is cosine of 72 equal?
Minus 1 plus root 5 over 4.
Yeah. And cosine of 144 is minus 1 minus root 5 over 4.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty neat.
Pretty neat that we could find that
Yeah.
relatively easily.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of different ways to find this. This is a very algebraic / number theory sort of way to find it. That's cool. This is a really neat fact. And in fact, there's a famous problem from one of the old American high school mathematics exams. It was the last problem, and it said cosine of 36 degrees minus cosine of 72 degrees equals something, and the choices were all rational numbers. And if you know cosine of 72 is minus 1 plus root 5 over 4, you can find pretty easily, like using the half-angle formula or lots of other ways. Actually, you know cosine of 36 is negative of cosine of 144, actually.
Yeah, it is.
So it's 1 plus root 5 over 4. So that means cosine of 36 minus cosine of 72 is?
Looks like minus a half, or a half.
1/2. Yeah. So it's neat. It's a neat. Anyway, it's cool. There aren't many easy to define angles that have also easy to define cosines and sines.
Yeah.
72 degrees happens to be one of them. All right, good job, guys.